And a reminder, the first 30 minutes of this podcast are available on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Google and many of the major platforms. The full podcast is available at www.patreon.com/SRB Media. SRB Media.
Good evening, Gavin.
Good evening, TC, and welcome all to our weekly podcast, Terry Curran's The Curran View, with the Isle of Hillsborough, Mr. Terry Curran. Steady away, son. What game are you watching tonight?
Well, I've come into the bedroom, other one's fast asleep.
Blimey, it's every day, won't it?
Yeah, every day. And Jock is, Tom's watching match. I can't watch match and talk. Well, I can watch match and talk at the same time, but he'll have sound on, so.
Yeah, I've got the sound right down. I'm watching Milan versus Napoli. I think it's going to be a cracking game. We spoke
What
about
do you fancy?
I fancy a draw. I think they're two brilliant sides.
You've bottled it.
No, I just think
bottled it.
I think they're just two brilliant sides too. I mean,
Napoli will beat them.
Yeah, but I watched Milan absolutely destroy, and I thought, they've got some great players, but it's another day, it's another game, and Napoli could turn out winners today. I hope they do, because my favourite player is Special K. I can't pronounce his name. He's the kid that wears the number 77. He plays on the left side. He really reminds me of Jack Grealish. He's a Georgian international. I think he's fantastic. So I watch Napoli because I want to watch him. I want to watch players. What players have you watched producing magic moments this week, T?
I think we should stop doing it, really. That's what I think we should do, because we're not doing it just... I mean, the goals what I scored is unbelievable. I had 3 or 4 incidents and moments, and I thought to myself, and then that Rodri went and scored, and absolutely, it was like a postage stamp right up in the top corner. Bayern Munich were making it difficult for them, but I think it is going to be City's year this year. I really do. So I'm going for Rodri and that unbelievable strike. The back left of it. It's just. I still, even this morning, I'm thinking, how has he got that right in there?
Yeah. I mean, I like Rodri. I think he's a great player. I think Man City have got a team of great players. They've got a bench of great players. But what's always made me laugh is Manchester United are the only team that can win the quadruple. Don't be stupid. You're having a laugh. Manchester City, I've said for some time, will win the treble. I think they're that strong. I think they're that good. And that performance last night against a good Bayern Munich side, okay, the defending at times left a lot to be desired, but I thought Man City were absolutely fabulous. And they tire you out, don't they? When they got the ball, they tire you out. And you could see the way that they attacked that game. And in the end, destroyed them. It could have been 7.
I revert back to 1970 World Cup and watching Brazil move the ball with intelligence, with accuracy, with the tempo. Right, and when they did lose the ball, because of that high upfield, they didn't have to use a lot of energy to go and get the ball back. On top of that, the opposition, if they're not really the bee's knees themselves, they will give them type of teams the ball away. And you've just covered it. They wear you out. I think people are frightened. Well, lots of teams are frightened because the managers are frightened. I mean, they're not unbeatable, but when you see them play like that, and teams are fearful of them, it does make it a little bit easy for them, because you're right, they just wear you out. They keep going and getting the ball back, And then when they fetch somebody off like De Bruyne, fetch Alaves, it's just whoever they fetch on, they must think, oh no, because this is fresh legs.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got probably 18 international players, but top international players, even when they've got a few injured players as well. Their bench is very strong, and the first team is unbelievable. And the way that they pass that ball as well. Again, I thought Grealish last night was superb.
When you watch them, when you watch Manchester City,
don't give the ball away, do they?
And this is what I'm trying to say. You look at our teams in England and coaches, right? And they're trying to coach players. What's not composed on? First
Absolutely.
of all, they're not composed on the ball,
100%.
and it goes sideways and backwards.
Yep.
City always look to turn out. Jack Grealish now, right? I mean, I don't have to talk about Jack Grealish because we did our talking about him.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to slaughter him.
Yep.
Yes, sometimes it does take you time to settle in, even in a team like that, because he's the bee's knees and going as £100 million football player.
Yep.
And he has to live up to something.
Yeah.
Now, great players do live up to it. But has he turned it round? Is he making those people eat the words, just like David Silver did, when everybody said, I listened to a guy called Dan Bongino, and I keep telling you about it. And what he says, give it 24 hours. Don't listen to a story. Listen to the story.
Yeah.
And Jack has carried Villa, and Villa's a massive football club. And what I mean by this, it's a big, big fan base. Right. It hasn't won major trophies for years, but if you put the same amount of money into Villa, what has gone into Manchester City and gone into Chelsea and gone into Arsenal, then Aston Villa will be challenging for major trophies year in and year out.
100%. 100%. So Villa are a massive club. I say to Tom, you are a massive club. You just probably for a generation haven't acted like one, but you're still a massive club.
And the thing is, they have to sell people like Grealish because they haven't got the backers.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, how Grealish, to this day, how he doesn't pick him on a regular basis, I'll never know. Southgate.
Well, again, we've been there many times on the podcast.
Yeah.
We've done many podcasts with Alan Hudson talking about Jack Grealish. And I think Southgate is starting to play him a little bit more now. But the English disease is, it's been so long since they've seen a quality player. They just don't recognise one. Pep Guardiola does, because that's all he deals with. Quality players who are comfortable on the ball, use the ball well, they're intelligent, make things happen.
You tell me a box-to-box player he has in that football club.
You won't have him.
Right?
You don't have him.
What do we talk about? The English coaches, the English pundits.
Yeah. It's English disease. They haven't got a clue. They have not got a clue.
I do like Gerrard and Lampard. I didn't think they were bad players. I thought they were good players.
All right, yeah,
would they have got in? The only English player playing at that time would have got in that was Scholes.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Similar.
Yeah, 100%.
Similar play, Don't give the ball away. Always looking for the ball.
Yeah.
Always making angles for everyone and anyone.
Yep.
Right. Make certain runs off the ball without having to keep making them all the time, because everybody into moves, don't they?
Of course they do. Yeah. You've got 3/3 in a football pitch. You play certain players in one third, other types of players in the other third, and another type of player in another third. But you can move, and when you look at the Dutch with the total football, or the Hungarians, they all mindle round, and the defender will go up, someone will slot in, the player, and they fill in them spaces because they're all good, they're all comfortable on the ball, and they're all footballers. They're all technically great footballers. The English don't like that. They don't understand that, because basically they're stupid.
Get it away.
Whack it, smash it.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you work hard.
Don't laugh at this, because I've always thought to myself, I wonder if Guardiola's ever thought about even the goalkeeper coming out at times and being into midfield.
He would do, yeah.
I'm not saying he should do it.
Yeah.
Because it is risky that, but nothing would stop me believing that Guardiola wouldn't even try that.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't put it past him.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past him to give Edison an outfield shirt and say, we're playing last man back, because that's what we want to do.
Well,
we want to change the game of football. Rush goalie. Yeah, of course we did play rush goalie, last man back.
Last man back.
Yeah, it's incredible, but that's the way that I'm watching Milan here, and there's a player, Brahim Diaz, what a player. When they blow smoke up the likes of Bellingham and Rice's backside, those two players could not lace this kid's boot. And, Liverpool are looking at they're out the race for Bellingham because it's going to be £120 million plus, and they're looking at Nicolo Barella. Barella's twice the player and half the price.
Liverpool won't be buying anyone until they've sold that football club.
Quite possibly.
There's a lot. No, there's no possibility about
quite possibly
it.
too.
Well, if they do buy anyone, he's not going to be, £100 million player.
No, not
and I
at
tell
all.
you what, there's better players than Bellingham at 100 million.
100%. I think he's the most vastly overrated player that I've ever seen. Him and Declan Rice, players that aren't overrated. Magic moments for me too. I watched Thiago when he come on for Liverpool the weekend. I thought he was magnificent. My brother-in-law's a Liverpool fan, and we were out, and luckily there was a television set, so we was having a meal and watching the Liverpool game. He come on, I says, look at him, Thiago, he's an absolute artist.
When he was at Barcelona,
what a player.
Right, and then you got the other two there, Xavi and Iniesta. Yeah. I used to think to myself, he must be gutted, because when he came on and when he played, he looked absolutely brilliant. And I know they sold him. I know Pep sold him to Bayern Munich, but he knew he couldn't keep him because it's not fair when you've got a player with that quality. But he has to make a decision. Now, I think in general, players will accept that, because you look at it. Yes, he's a top quality player, but he knows. And I'm not saying that he didn't think that he could play in that team, because he could. Yeah. But he realised, I have to move on because of so and so. Now, when someone like Declan Rice is getting in before him, that's when it's annoying. Yes. For players.
Yeah. Absolutely. You're looking at, you're replacing a thoroughbred with a donkey. And, that's not being disrespectful. It's just the way that I see it. There's different levels. I think that Declan, could make a decent centre half. I don't think, as long as he's got an hole in his backside, he'll make it. You don't. I know you don't. Yeah.
He's more, listen,
I think Johnny Stones has been fantastic recently, by the way. Fantastic.
John Stone, I've always liked John Stone.
Have.
Like I do the other kid. Because John Stone, listen, he takes the piss on the ball.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
How confident he is.
Even when John Stones...
All we want to do in this country is slag him off.
Absolutely.
Our pundits.
Absolutely.
That's why they fail. That's why they fail.
Mm. But he has been magnificent, Stones. Erling Haaland's goal the weekend, that bicycle scissor kick. Yeah. You look at it, you think that kid ain't human.
I knew you were going to use it. See, when you post some of these up, I'm thinking, shall I nick that? Shall I nick that? But I try to go for something different.
I know you do too. But Curtis Jones.
He's got everything, and he has got everything.
Literally. I mean, what a player. I mean, he has got everything, but what he hasn't got is a record.
Can I just interrupt you again? Can you remember? Everybody was screaming for him to get a centre forward, and then when they got that bad pass, they were all turning around and saying, "Have you done the wrong thing by signing him?"
Yeah, you're a better team without him.
They don't have changed their minds all the time.
They're very stupid people. That's why.
Exactly.
Very stupid people. I mean, by the way, I just think they're just idiots. Most of them are absolute idiots. But Special K is having a blinder so far. This has been a great start to the game. Ramsey's diving header for Middlesbrough. Young kid from Aston Villa. Tremendous diving header. I really love Curtis Jones's touch for Liverpool's first goal. The way that he took the ball out of his feet, just played it in. The ball's come across and bang, bang, back of the net.
What about him, the right back? I tell you what. There is nobody in the world better going forward than him.
Absolutely, 100%.
I mean, now when he did the kid on the byline there and whipped the ball, so when he's in full flow going forward, he's absolutely brilliant. Him. What's his name again?
Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'd do if I was Man City? I'd try and buy him. Listen, he would be fantastic in City's team. He would.
For all we know, he might have tried to sign him.
Yeah, exactly. He would be perfect for Manchester City's team. Absolutely perfect. If I was Pep, I'd probably try and do a couple of player swap for Trent. I think he would just be just perfect. But again, a great player. Ramsdale saves. I thought he made some great saves and kept Arsenal, still in the game. Liverpool could have won it.
What about the one at the death?
I know, it was fantastic, wasn't it? You look at it, you go, oh my days, what a save. I don't know, what a save.
How's he not in England's team before the kid at
Again, I don't know. But again, we've got Gareth Southgate, who's the manager, and I don't know, but Ramsdale has been absolutely fantastic, and a couple of great saves. Got to mention Wrexham. I mean, what a game that was! I didn't see the game; I was out at work. But there's an A-list, I believe. I don't know who he is, Ryan Reynolds. I know he's an actor, but I don't know what he's been in. I don't know anything about him. But I just question whether he's actually writing the script for Wrexham, because you just couldn't write one better. 5-5 and got beat in penalties to Grimsby last year, didn't they?
Yeah.
In the last minute, they bring an former England goalkeeper, our retirement, and he saves a penalty in the last minute in the biggest game that level of football's ever seen. You couldn't write that script, could you?
No, but do you think they own it?
I have no idea who owns it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who he is. I don't know what money he's got. I don't know.
Listen, choose how much money he's got. It's not enough. Well, if he's got 60, 70 million, that's not enough, even for that level of football.
No, I mean, he may have big backers behind him or have a consortium and he's the front person with the other fella. I don't know.
I told you, I wrote a piece on my wall this week. And allegedly, if there's not money laundering in football, because
without doubt.
If there's that much money in it, right? Women's football's come from nowhere.
Yeah.
Right? It come from nowhere. So how can that generate that money? It's generated. And I mean, some of these transfers now are getting stupid for women. So they're going about men, but that's becoming laughable now, that.
I'm not sure what money it generates because we never see any receipts. We do see some crowds. They got beat 2-0 last night against Australia. And what annoys me, again, is, just concentrate. Yeah, but just concentrate on being football players. They're going to get involved in this, that, everything politically. They want to look at it. They want to be spokespeople for just about every political, thing that you can see, where it be kneeling,
get
where
ready
it be
for the change.
Well, absolutely.
I've been sticking my neck out and been taking flack, as you know I am.
Yeah, I know you have, yeah.
Right, and I'll tell you what, it's all going to change soon.
But as Simon Jordan always says, okay, it's great to help and make people aware of Alzheimer's and dementia and homelessness and issues that we've got in society. But that ain't football's job. Football players' jobs are to play football, to entertain the crowd, for people to pay money to watch them on a television or in the ground and prop that game up, and then you earn your dough. You're not a figurehead for anything. Politically, we have politicians that do that. Okay, they're not very good, and most of them are bent and corrupt. But footballers just concentrate on being bloody footballers. I'm quite sick of all these different things that I see every time.
They've ruined our game. They have ruined our game with politics.
Absolutely. Keep politics, keep anything like that out of football, no matter what it is. I don't want to know. I don't want to hear it. All I want to hear is football. Josh Atensensio's goal for Seattle against St. Louis.
Oh,
what a strike. Bing! What a goal. Still rising now, that ball is. Fantastic.
Brilliant.
But me magic moment was, I think I'm pronouncing his name right, Zaccagni, his winner for Lazio, but the assist by Luis Alberto, absolutely delicious. He's just flicked it and the composure, and he's just bagged it. Phenomenal.
Nobody loves the English players as much as me and what the English coach does to do it well. But when you see these continental players with the touch and the vision, the understanding of the game, you know, we look at our players, and they're looking at bench all the time for information, aren't they?
Yeah.
They don't do anything with any initiative to say, right, let me take a risk here.
Yeah.
But when I say take a risk, I'm taking that risk because I've got that confidence to get that ball through.
Absolutely. And I know where the next pass is going, because in my mind I've already received this one, and that's where I'm putting it out there. But, you know, you look at the average bog standard English player, the first touch, well, the second touch is often a tackle, isn't it? Because the first touch is that bad. But but what an absolute delightful assist by Luis Alberto of Lazio. And nice to see both Lazio and Roma in the top four in Italian football. At the moment, Napoli are absolutely coasting it, 16 points clear. And I know you're not a great lover of Italian football, and I've only watched it recently. And this is because of
I will
Special
watch.
K.
I will watch. I
Yeah.
will watch. I
Mm.
will watch.
Yeah.
Napoli.
Yeah.
They play some great football.
Yeah.
And they do. You know, they attack.
I watch him. I do. Special K. What a player!
Right? And I'm definitely going to watch AC Milan because I want to see. Because when they were at the peak, they were a great team to watch. Ulrich, Van Basten.
Yeah.
And what was the other kid?
Rijkaard. Yeah, they're the three.
You
Dutch.
know,
yeah.
And what they call it, the centre back. Well, they got Maldini at the full back. What was the kid?
Franco Baresi.
Baresi, yeah.
Baresi. I mean, what a team they were. I think they've won the European Cup, Champions League, 7 times now. A great club. And
got beat.
Some
they got beat. It cost me £18,000, £100 accumulated when they were 3-0 up against Liverpool.
If any time you think that there's a bent game, that's the bent game, isn't it? How can you be 3-0 at half time?
You wouldn't expect them to throw the game away.
You
By the way,
no.
it went over 90 minutes neither.
No, it wasn't.
Because it was accumulated.
Yeah.
And I had an horse in it called Currans in the accumulator. Sheikh Mohammed owned it, trained by Michael Stout, champion hurdle.
Yeah.
And I had a £100 accumulator. And I could not believe it when they went 3-0 up. And I came out of hospital, went to see my brother in hospital. Went in at half time. When I came back out, I put the video with the penalties. I went, never in this month of Sunday.
No, you nearly joined your brother in there, didn't you?
Yeah, no, listen, I've never got mad, I just goes over my head, everything does. If we got beat as well, it's next game we start again.
Absolutely.
Where everybody else is sulking and crying.
But it was absolutely an incredible result, and so far it's 0-0. I'm not too sure what's happening at Chelsea. There's nothing that's flashed up. I quite fancy Chelsea tonight to get something from that game. He's gone quite defensively, hasn't he, Lampard? He's put extra players in that midfield area, so you know I think he's going for. I wouldn't say setting out for a draw, but he certainly lined his team up not to be too offensive. Kai Havertz is on the bench, as are most of his attack-minded players. An all-league competition, I did touch upon this last week. We didn't talk about it, but I'd love to see a competition with the best 11 from Serie A, the Premier League, the Bundesliga, and all these top leagues in the world. I think that could be a better competition than the European Champions League and the European Nations League and also the World Cup. Because if you've got the strongest leagues, you've got the strongest 11 players. That would be the world's greatest tournament, in my opinion.
It would be a catch, wouldn't it?
I'd love to see it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially about sponsors. Sponsors.
I think sponsors would chuck money at it because, you know, we're always hearing, well, we've got the strongest league here in England. The Premier League's the best league in the world. I'm amazed that no one said, well, do you want to put your money where your mouth is? I think Serie A is the best league in the world. I think we've got the best players in Serie A. And then someone will say, well, I think La Liga is the best with the best players in the world. All right, let's have a competition where we'll play an inter-league competition and we will see the best 11 players from every league playing against each other. I think it'd be an absolutely fabulous watch.
It'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Definitely be interesting.
Yeah.
To see what to see what. First and foremost, who'd be the manager, coach of that team?
Well, this is the problem.
And what players they would pick.
This is the problem, that you would have clubs say, well, you can't play this player, you can't play that, and unfortunately, politically, it would get in the way, wouldn't it? But I'd love to see it happen. Go on.
They get some managers are lucky to get 6 months. They'll be getting 2 games. Some of these.
Well, you look at Wilder. I mean, he's lucky to get April.
Somebody's got to get a sack, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, you look at Watford. They're already looking at Wilder's replacement, aren't they? Apparently.
Well, listen, Gabby, you know as well as I do. The Saka kid.
Yeah.
Don't give him chance.
Yeah.
Right. He goes to Watford. He's going to get them in playoffs.
Yeah.
They dropped by the wayside when he left.
Mm-hmm.
They were in the top 6 or top 4.
Yeah.
When he was there.
Mm-hmm.
Real Madrid's gone 1-0 up, by the way.
Okay. I might be wrong then.
So that's what happens when you go defensive.
No, yeah, that's very true. But they have got some really good players, Chelsea. I looked at their side, I looked at their bench, and I thought, you know what? That is a strong squad that Chelsea have got. Okay, lacking that goal-scoring threat, if I'm absolutely honest. That one player. I think if you put Erling Haaland into that Chelsea team, what a transformation it would make. But,
listen, you've got to get an elite manager.
Yeah, you have, yeah.
I mean, I was willing 100%. To give Potter a chance.
Yeah.
Because I did like the way he played. But I've always told you that.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
It all depends on whether he can handle the big name play. You can have who you want. Look how much money Chelsea spent.
Yeah, Benzema.
They can't win a game, can they?
No. I mean, you look at you spending £600 million in the transfer window, and then allegedly, and I don't believe this, I think people that own football clubs do some stupid things. But when it come out in the media this week that Todd Bowley had asked Smithy from Gavin and Stacey about should he have Frank Lampard as a manager, I'm sorry, they're not that stupid. That seriously didn't happen. I know the media are trying to create a story, but I can't believe any person that owns a club would just do that.
I can believe anything, right? Because you know as well as I do, the Women's Premier League.
Yeah.
How long before we get a transgender male playing in it? So I believe now anything. Would you have thought Frank Lampard, the point of Frank Lampard anyway?
No, 100%. But in terms of transgender, like men into women playing in women's football, I think they've been doing that for about a generation. Have you seen the size of some of these birds?
Yeah, well, but you know what I'm talking about. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
I think that in America, I think there's somebody already doing that.
I mean, they can't.
Should have seen something.
Yeah, you can't. A man cannot play in a women's sport. And
a man can't win. Yeah, exactly. The man would have in America with the swimmers. That should never happen.
Yeah, no, 100% it shouldn't. And Milan have just missed a very good chance there to go 1-0 up. Yeah, Rafael Leao. He's a powerful boy.
How's the game? Is it
it's decent. It's a good game. I'm really enjoying this. This Leao, he's a Portuguese boy. He's only 23. He looks a handful, and he's just put one wide of the post. But he does look. I mean, Premier League teams looking for. I mean, if I was Chelsea, I'd be looking at putting him in there, or Victor Osimhen. Mind you, Osimhen does get a lot of injuries, and he is out at the moment, injured again. But from what I've seen of this fella, this Leao, he don't half look an handful. But there you go. Our owners would prefer to be asking reality TV stars and Gavin and Stacey actors for their advice rather than looking at, mind you, some things have been thrown here in the crowd.
Gabby,
yeah.
Listen, some of the players that some of these top teams sign, I'd like to know who is picking them players.
I don't know. I have no idea.
It might be them from Gavin and Stacey with some of these, because I tell you what.
Yeah.
Unbelievable! Some of the players are signed,
and such inflated prices.
Leeds United paid £55 million for a kid.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not going to knock him yet because they don't play him.
No.
They're saying he's a bad player.
Mm.
Well, let's have a look at him in team first before we criticise him. But why pay £55 million?
I don't know.
When you don't score enough goals, right, and you don't give him a chance.
Absolutely. But football, the Premier League, there's that much money in the Premier League. Teams have got that much. They're just spending ridiculous amounts of money on players that you've never heard. And then when they don't actually fit in. And you look at it, you just think, oh my God. I mean, who's actually running the game? And
SRB Media.